Hey guys! Today we're going to be talking about the African diaspora in Spain.
Freedom is
It's difficult to quantify the Afro-descendant population of Spain, as there is no question about race on the national census.
There was at one time a significant black population in Spain, little trace of which is visible today, and whose presence has been largely forgotten.
For 800 years, Spain was under African Muslim rule, beginning in 711 AD, when the Umayyad Caliphate expanded into the Iberian Peninsula, which today roughly translates to Spain and Portugal. This lasted until 1492, when Granada, the last Muslim stronghold in the Iberian Peninsula, came under Spanish Christian rule.
The ending of 800 years of African Muslim dominion in Spain is known as the Reconquista. Under Afro-Arab rule, the Iberian Peninsula was called Al-Andalus, and the capital was the city of Córdoba.
A well-known example of an early prominent black figure in Spain is Ziryab. Ziryab was a renowned musician and scholar who lived in Andalusia in the 8th century.
Originally born in 789 AD in Iraq to parents of African descent, from a young age he proved to be a gifted singer and musician. Although his birth name was Abu al-Hassan, he received the nickname Ziryab, meaning blackbird, an allusion to his dark skin and beautiful singing voice.
Ziryab spent time in Tunisia and eventually settled in Spain, which at the time was under the control of the Moors of North Africa.
His reputation was so great that he was invited by King Al-Hakam to Córdoba, the Moorish capital of Spain. He received accommodation in the royal courts and went on to enjoy an illustrious musical career in Córdoba. He is widely considered the godfather of Andalusian music.
His influence also impacted fashion, hygiene and cuisine, both in Spain and across Europe. He died in 857 AD, aged 68, survived by 8 sons and 2 daughters.
Slavery was practiced for centuries across the Spanish Empire. In 1492, the same year that the Catholic Kingdom of Castile ended African rule in Spain, Christopher Columbus reached Hispaniola, the island shared by modern-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and established the first Spanish colony in the New World.
Incidentally, he was accompanied by African conquistador Juan Garrido, who was one of the earliest Africans to reach the Americas. The Spanish went on to conquer much of Latin America and enlisted an enslaved African workforce across the continent, which contributed untold wealth to the Spanish crown.
Nowadays, people largely assume that all Spanish slavery happened overseas in Latin America. However, we rarely hear about the slavery that took place on Spanish soil.
One well-known example of an enslaved African in Spain was Juan Latino, also known as Juan de César. Juan was a 16th century Afro-Spanish poet and professor in Granada who became famous for his poetry, particularly the Austrias Carmen. He received an education alongside his master's son, who was Duke Gonzalo Fernández de Córdoba II.
Juan excelled in Latin, Greek and music. He studied at the University of Granada and received his degree in 1546, aged 28.
Juan went on to publish 3 volumes of Latin poetry, in which he explored the themes of blackness, race relations, and slavery. Juan de Pareja was a 17th century Afro-Spanish painter, an assistant to the celebrated painter Diego Velazquez. Velazquez eventually freed Juan in 1654, and Juan worked as an independent painter in Madrid. Only 10 of his paintings are known to exist.
Slavery was never formally abolished in Spain, and the abolition of slavery in Latin America was implemented gradually over the course of the 1800s. So what happened to the black community in Spain?
During the 18th and 19th centuries, there is evidence to show that Spain may have had the largest African population in Europe, particularly in Cádiz. Yet in the years following, the population largely disappeared.
Some historians allege that due to racist attitudes and limited job opportunities in 19th century Spain, many Africans and their descendants either returned to Africa or migrated to Hispanic countries in Latin America.
Spain's relationship with Africa continued somewhat with the European scramble for Africa, which took place at the turn of the 20th century. European powers raced amongst themselves to colonize as much of the African continent as they could, particularly Britain, France, Germany and Portugal. Spain colonized Morocco, the Western Sahara and Equatorial Guinea.
Due to the intertwined histories of the regions, there continues to be a significant African presence in Spain, particularly from Morocco and Equatorial Guinea, though there is also a large contingent from Nigeria and Senegal.
There are several organizations that advocate the rights of Afro-Spaniards today. Afrofeminas is a digital magazine directed at Spanish-speaking Afro-descendant feminist women. Founded by Afro-Cuban activist Antoinette Torres Soler, originally Afrofeminas was intended as an online platform for Afro-descendant women in Spain to connect and share ideas. It's now read in over 40 countries and has become a global community. Casa Africa is an organization based in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, which aims to strengthen and facilitate relations between Spain and the continent of Africa. They inform the Spanish government's foreign policy in Africa and assist with economic diplomacy. There is an annual festival in Madrid called Conciencia Afro. It takes place over 2 days in September and celebrates Afro-descendant culture in Spain. The headquarters are located in the Centro de Residencias Artísticas in Madrid. Well-known contemporary Afro-Spaniards include the TV presenter Lucia Mbomillo, the journalist Francine Galvez, director Santiago Zanu, rapper El Chojin, actress Berta Velazquez, footballer Iñaki Williams, and the politician Rita Bosajo. One of the best-known Afro-Spaniards internationally is Concha Buica, the Grammy-nominated flamenco fusion singer from Palma de Mallorca.
With each generation, Spain's African diaspora continues to make itself more visible and more vocal, both within Spain and on the world stage.
Freedom.